Hi everybody, it's Kathy, and I'm here with a tutorial on making these 3 different envelope pocket tuck spots. Let's get started. I'll show you what they are first. This is an exploding envelope. It's made up of 3 envelopes that open up and have goodies inside. This one, and I'm sure you've seen variations, this is a folding pocket, a folding double envelope pocket. And in this one, I put some paper to write on under a flap, a pocket with a card, some journaling paper, and a belly band. So we're going to make that. These are really fun to make. And then we're just going to make this simple triangle fold in case you haven't made one. Okay, let's get started. The materials that you're going to need. Your basic materials are envelope punch board, if you have one. Whoops. Glue, scissors, stapler, a 1-inch circle punch, distress ink, and a paper trimmer. Then, as far as paper goes, I'm going to go, what do you call it? Item by item and let you know what the paper is. And we're going to start by doing this one. So this is called a pop-out envelope. Let me turn this over so we only see that. Well, let me close that. You're going to need 1 piece of cardstock. I have mine over here. 12 by 12. I think that's all you'll need. You might need 2 pieces, but we'll see. I think we can get it. Yeah, we should be able to get it out of 1 piece. And 1 piece of journaling paper, any kind of paper that you have. It can actually be a scrap. It could be half of a piece. We don't need the whole thing, but you will need the rest of it for the others. And let's start with cutting it. Here you can take a screen picture, but right off the bat, we're going to cut 2 pieces of 5 by 5 square out of the cardstock and 1 piece of 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 out of the cardstock. Okay, so let's get started with that. I hope you all are doing well and are healthy, and hope things are going good. They are for me. So far, so good. So we're going to cut 2 pieces of 5 by 5. So this is 5. That wasn't 5. That was a little bigger than 5. And you want to be pretty precise. No, that was 5. And 1. And 2. That's going to be for 2 of the envelopes. And then the 3rd envelope is just a bit bigger. And I want to use the dark side. And we're going to make that 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And you just need 1 piece of that. Okay, and while we have your trimmer out, well, no, we don't need to do it with the trimmer. We'll put the trimmer aside. And now I'm going to take out my envelope punch board. If you don't have one of these memory keepers, punch boards, I really think they're worth it. That being said, what we're going to do next is we're going to cut out the notch at 2 3/8 in the 5 by 5 pieces. We're going to take the smaller pieces and line it up at 2 3/8 and notch it. And notch it. And again. Whoops, that wasn't right. And notch it again. It's funny, when I first got this, I really didn't know how to use it. And there wasn't really, unless you go online, which I realized later, there weren't really directions with it. It tells you here, but it just didn't make sense to me. So it took me a while to figure it out. A lot of pieces later, but I love them. And what you're basically doing for these is you're making 2 envelopes the same size that are slightly smaller than the larger envelope. So if you want to make bigger pocket, like full exploding envelope pocket thingy, you can make them larger, but just pick sizes that are sequentially smaller. 1 big one and 2 smaller. Okay, and the larger one, I'm going to notch it at 2 5/8 inches. Notch and score. It's amazing that, to me, that people came up with these crazy tools. I mean, you really could make an envelope without it. But it makes it so much easier. Okay, we're going to set this aside and get rid of the scraps. I am going to use the score, the bone folder. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold, excuse the ink on my fingers, I'm going to fold this in place like an envelope. And open it back up. I'm going to do the same to these. Oh, I forgot to score it. That's okay. That's okay. I'll figure it out. And the last one as well. Just want to crease it really good. Want to crease it really well. I think that should use well there. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the smaller ones on either side of the big one. And when I do that, I want to fold this one in. Do I want to fold that one in? Yeah, it'll make it a little easier. You're going to actually glue that down, and you're going to glue this down. So I will start by putting glue back here. Fold this up so it doesn't get in the way, and you want to match the score lines as best as you can, but don't cover the score line, because then you'll have trouble with it folding. You want to make sure the score lines match up. And while you're there, put on glue on that piece, and you're good to go. Make sure that it folds in well enough. Okay? We're going to do the exact same thing over here. Let's do it on this side. Okay, we're going to hold this, put this down, and we'll be ready to go. That's what I love about working with paper. You can correct it so easily. Okay. So what I did was, And what you need to be sure that you do, the envelopes are not square after you make them. And they're 2.5 by 3, I believe. So you want to make sure you have the 3-inch side going vertically, okay? Just match them. Okay? So what you do with this is then these all fold in. You want to fold them really well. This is where you might use your bone folder. And fold this side in really well. And if you find that it's not quite even, just go ahead and trim a little bit off. It's not going to matter. Then this side goes down. Depending on which side you want to have on the top, I'm going to have this side on the top. Okay? And that's what an exploding envelope is. And then in our exploding envelope, what I'd like to do, like I did in this one, is I want to put a little pad on the inside. So let's go ahead and do that. And all you're going to do is take your paper. We know this is about 3 inches. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to cut your paper 3 inches. And then what I do, now that it's 3 inches, then I'm going to make it about the same after I fold it. So that I'm gonna make it like 2 3/4 wide. 2 7/8. Let's see, that's a little too small. I'm gonna do it a little larger. Fold it in half. Cut it at 3 inches. Okay, and cut it at 3 inches. And cut another one at 3 inches. So you end up, you want a couple of pieces that are approximately 3 by 3. Oops. And all you're going to do is you're going to put them inside each other. Going to take a stapler, staple them. Take a piece of your leftover paper to make a 3-inch spine. And make this about 1.25 inches. Fold it in half. And we're going to cover the staple with that. It's a little crooked. Add some glue on it. And we're going to put it just like this. We're going to put glue on the back of this. Actually, I'm going to put it this way instead. So it's sideways. That gives you a little place for folks to write. Then let's look at what we did over here. I put a little small pocket at the bottom and a little belly band. So let's go ahead and see what I have left. I have enough for a belly band. You want to make sure that you don't cover your score lines. Because this is kind of bulky, because we're using cardstock, you want to kind of make it as thin as possible. So I put a little belly band in there, and let's see. I don't have enough left over of this for a pocket. I'm going to put a little corner tuck in this because that's all I have left. And I'm going to put that right in there. And voila. Put this in there. Just stealing this out from the other one. And you could do whatever little ephemera that you want to make. That's the fun part, to decorate it. And maybe I'll put a little sticker up here. I think I have a sticker. I have a leftover sticker. So, I'll put one in that says lovely. We're going to close it up. And I always close the top and the bottom first, then the sides, then this side, which is a little cattywonk here. Let me try to fix it. And then this side, bottom, and then top. And what I want to do is put something here that the top can tuck into. Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to cut a slit in here. And I have these great little scissors. I saw another crafter using, not scissors, I don't know what you call it. They're by Fiskars, but it's a little knife. It's like an X-Acto knife, but it's so precise because you control it with your finger. I got it at Joann's. So I'm going to cut a slit right there. Put that aside. There you have it. Of course. Okay, so that is the exploding envelope. Doesn't take long to make, and it really adds some interest to your journals. Okay, the next one we're going to do is rather simple. It's this one. It's a little folded triangle. Very simple to make, and it holds a ton of stuff. You can put stuff there and here. Okay, so for this one you need a 6 by 6. Well, you can actually make it any size. It depends on how big your journal is. I typically put these in my journal. This is up against the spine. So I make it usually 6 by 6. If you have a larger journal, you can make it, 7 by 7. Cut a 7 by 7 piece of paper. Since I already kind of messed this up, well, you kind of really want to use double-sided paper. So I'll use this. This is so pretty. This is by, I'll tell you who made this one. This is Preserved Paper by DCWV. I don't know where I got it. It was probably, I think Michael sells this probably, or Joann's. Okay, so I'm going to cut a 6 by 6 piece. And what part do I want in here? I want this rose at the bottom. 6 by 6. Okay, put that aside. Do I have enough mess in front of you that's driving you crazy? I hope not. Okay, and this one, all we do is you fold it, figure out which one you want to have on the back, on the showing, and I kind of like this on the back. No, that'll be folded down so you won't see it. I'm going to do it like this. You have the solid color. You fold that right in half. Use your bone folder, get a nice crisp fold. And then all I'm going to do, this is so I can see the rows, I'm going to fold it back this way. And see how nice it is if you use double-sided. If you don't use double-sided, you could just cover it with the thin scrapbook paper, printed scrapbook paper. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue here, just like that. And now you can leave it if you'd like as a flap pocket, but what I like to do is I put a little glue here and here, here and here. And then I can put things in it. Let me just grab these. I can put that in here. Let's see, that in there. There. And that's it. I always like to put also a little rhinestone in there, which I'm not going to take out, but it makes it so pretty. Let me put this up here because it's pretty. And if you're putting little things, normally, obviously, you should put something, you know, thicker in there or bigger. I'm just putting little things. So if I was just going to continue put the little things, I would put the glue all the way up here. Okay? And again, this would go in your, can go in your journal like this. Okay, let's put that aside and let's work on this one. This is a fold down envelope, which I'm sure you've made many times. I'll just show you what I did a little differently. I did not use the envelope punch for this. I cut 2 pieces, 5 by 7.5 inches. I used 1 piece of journal paper, 1 piece of tracing paper, and scraps. For the journal paper, you can use the rest of the journal piece paper that you used for the first one. Okay, 2 pieces, 5 inches by 7.5. And let me show you what it will make. We have 2 envelopes, pseudo envelopes, and in it I have a little flap that I stick our tracing paper people can write on there. I have a little pocket, a full pocket. I have another little pad and a little belly band. Okay, so 2 pieces of 5 by 7.5. So let's see. Let me cut off the strip. And we're going to do 7.5 by 5. And so you'll just need 1 piece of paper, 12 by 12 piece of cardstock for that, and you can use this for cards to go in it. Okay. Now all you're going to do for this one is you're going to fold these almost in half, not quite. You're going to leave, let's leave about a 1/2 inch. No, let's leave about 1 inch. Almost 3/4 inch. Okay, fold it in half. And I'm going to fold it in half the other way because I kind of want the pink side. Let's see. Once you have it in your journal, no, I'm going to do it just like that. Okay, and the same thing on your other piece. But I'm going to make it a little bigger flap. I'm going to make it about 1 inch. Okay. Well, here we go. And all you're doing here is you're taking one. Oh, well, I didn't fold that down. That was silly. You're taking one envelope. And you're gluing it to the back of the other one. So I'm going to take some glue. I want to apologize. I'm a little discombobulated today. So my instructions don't seem to be that clear, even to myself. So please come back another time. I am not so incoherent all the time. Okay. And so what you're doing here is you've just made folding envelope, hopefully. If you find that it doesn't quite fold right, which this does not do, you just have to play with it. Let's see. And I don't like the way this is folding, but that's okay, because you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some lace and cover it up. But in the meantime, what I want to do is decorate the inside similar to what I did over here. So on this one, I have a little flap on the side, and that's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm going to put a little flap, and I'm going to do it in pink. And I'm going to do it just like that. And I am going to ink this up a bit. It kind of needs it. And the things that you put inside this so that it folds nicely, you want to glue it right up the side. You want to make sure they're not too fat. You know what I mean. Don't make them too bulky. And I'm just going to fold this back to get it used to bending just a little bit. Okay. And under here, I want to take that piece of tracing paper. Don't worry if you don't have tracing paper. I like to use tracing paper because as a journaler, I love to write on tracing paper. So all I do is take a sheet, I fold it up. Remember it's about 3 inches. So I try not to fold it more than 3 inches. And I'm going to fold that in a bit. That's okay. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to put a little sticker on the end. Just makes it a little prettier. Let's see what I have. I have a little bee. So that when they open it up, that'll be at the start of where they would journal. And then what I'm going to do is ink this up. You always ink on the fold lines, as well as the straight edges, but not on the indented fold lines because that's just the way it ages, right? Okay. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but you want to do the inside, obviously, and the back. Now, obviously that's too big, so I'm going to fold it again. And I'm going to tuck that right under there. Okay, over here, I want to put a full pocket. And we're going to make that about 3 inches, correct? If you see, as you can see, I am not a measurer. Sometimes it's the death of me. In fact, quite often it is. But that's okay. And take a little notch here. And we're going to glue that right down. I am going to ink the edges of this. And you don't have to ink anything. You know, it depends on what kind of look you like. And I'm going to glue down the sides and the bottom. Okie doke. And then down here we want to put another pad. So I'm going to take the rest of that journaling paper. Well, I'll have to take this piece. And I'm going to put that here. And it's some pink paper. Ink it up. And fold this over. Glue it up. And you want really more pieces in this. I'm only putting in 2. You really want probably 4 pieces. Trim this off. Ink up the back. So pretty. And then glue it in place. Okay. And then down here we had kind of a fat belly band. Use the excess of this. And need to cut off a bit. Make that a little more even. Oops. Put this in place. Oh, I didn't ink it up. Let me just grab that real quick. I'm notorious for forgetting to ink things that I want to ink. Always have to go back. Okay. Now, let's see. I'm going to grab some of these. To put those right in, put that right in there. Okay. That is this one. We need something to go in here, so I'm going to steal this. And put this right in here. And it makes a cute little pocket for your journal. Now what you want to do here is, because as I said I made it so short, I'm not going to add lace. What I'm going to add is a circle punch. I'm going to double it. And I'm going to glue it on here to make it a little firmer. Glue those two together. And I'm going to glue it here, about a quarter of it. Oops, just like that. I don't want to glue it down. Then what I want to do is I want to make something for it to go into. So just like that, a little triangle. Now, normally I probably wouldn't have done this, but you know, when you make mistakes, so I'm going to put glue around the edge and then about the last quarter of it, because I want the top of it to be not glued so that this little circle, whoops, geesh, this little circle can fit into it and close the journal, or the, what is this, the envelope. Okay, so let's see what we did. I want to ink up the edges. I want to open it up, and I want to ink up these edges as well. Okay, so let's see what we did. You open it up, you have a little place to write by taking that out. You have a card holder, you have some journaling paper, and you have a belly band. And you could add another belly band here, but again, you don't want it to get too thick. And you're gonna stick that in there. So we did that. We did this one, and we made this one. Anyway, I hope I inspired you to try different things and learn new stuff. Try putting them in your journals. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye-bye.